Hey YouTube, what's up? Today is Thursday, which means we're doing some Pokemon Go PvP. Just a couple weeks ago, some time ago, the Pokemon Go Battle League launched. So that is, you can play online with random people right from your game. So that's pretty neat. But today, I was going to record battles on the Go Battle League, but they are currently doing some maintenance, so the Go Battle League is not active as I record this. So I had to kind of improvise and do some last-minute battles. So I've got StrawwHatLuffy again is joining me today. We are going to do practice Go Battle League. So basically we're just doing the Great League format, and we are doing open battles, blind battles, and there's no best of whatever, we're just battling. So I have set up 3 teams for today that I'm going to go over before we do the battles. Kind of explain what they are, why I chose them, and then I'm going to show you the battles that correspond with those teams. So let's get right into that, and let's have some fun.
Hey there, it's Grixis, doing all kinds of things. Hey there, it's Grixis School, playing all kinds of games. Pokemon and Magic the Gathering, come on down for all kinds of wild things.
Okay, so you can see on the side here, I've got the 3 teams that I'll be using, and on the side here is where the battles will be as per usual. So let's take a look at this first team here that I've highlighted with a black rectangle that I got off the Google. So we are leading with Toxicroak because of that sweet counter damage. I think it's a solid pick in the current Go battle. What's happening? So the big 4 are Altaria and Deoxys Defense, and Azumarill, and the other dude, what's his name, the fat one, Registeel. So basically what Toxicroak is I am leading with that in hopes that they lead with one of the big 4, except for Altaria. The counter damage is, of course, for Registeel. The Mud Bomb is also for Registeel, and the poison is for Azumarill. Now, if they lead with something that does not fit those bills, I have the safe swap into Azumarill, and then I have Alolan Raichu because it is spammy as bananas. So in this first game against StrawwHatLuffy, I will be leading Toxicroak, and in the back I will have Alolan Raichu with Azumarill. So without further ado, let's get right into this battle, and here we go. So go, Toxicroak up against Skarmory. This is unfortunate, but what I have decided to do when this matchup happens, and it happens a lot, is I farm a little bit of energy onto the Toxicroak, and then I switch into Alolan Raichu. But unfortunately, Straw Hat has switched into Sableye, which is absolutely terrible for Alolan Raichu because Alolan Raichu is very, very, very squishy and takes super effective damage from the majority of what Sableye is putting out. So luckily I'm able to charge up into 2 Thunder Punches because Raichu charges just that quickly. And I have successfully burned both shields. Sableye is also kind of squishy, so it makes sense that he would shield those moves. And now I'm going to bring in Azumarill to resist those charge moves that come at me from the Sableye. And the plan here is to charge up to Play Rough and get the Sableye out of there because both shields on Straw Hat's end are gone. And that's awesome. So I do go for the move, but he switches out too quickly and actually manages to get his Skarmory in first. So now I'm just going to try to Ice Beam that Skarmory and hope for the best there. You can see it does a pretty good chunk of damage, but not the most damage. So now it's just sort of Skarmory versus Azumarill. Skarmory gets to the Sky Attack first, and it is indeed enough to almost kill me, but I do survive just enough to get off an Ice Beam. But Azumarill's not long for this world, no matter what comes out next. Azumarill is Gonzo. And there it is, Sableye, to finish off the Azumarill. Luckily, I did put that little bit of energy onto my Toxicroak so it can come out, do a Mud Bomb right away, and clear the Sableye, and then all that's left is Registeel. And this is a pretty sweet matchup for me, but Registeel hits very fast and very hard, because it gets those charge moves crazy quickly with Lock On. So I am able to fire off a Mud Bomb, but unfortunately Registeel does have a charge move ready to go, and it is more than enough damage to take out Toxicroak. So my plan didn't go as it was meant to. That is okay, though. Straw Hat is definitely a skilled player, so I kind of expected these kinds of results, as you probably did as well from seeing Straw Hat play. So this is actually the team that when I queue up to play Go Battle League, this is usually the team that I just go for. It is my default. It is the one I have a lot of practice with, and one that I feel very, very comfortable with. So that's why I decided to play with that in Game 1. So let's move on to Game 2, and I'll go into my second team, which is the one just below it, and I'll explain what the deal is there. Alright, Game 2. Now, the other two teams that I made today are actually inspired by Grixis. Someone in my group chat was like, Matthew, you have to make Grixis teams to fit a theme here. So I'm doing that. That's what's happened here. So this is Grixis team number 1, and I will explain the reasoning behind the choices. So Swampert is good against that Registeel with the Earthquake and the Rapid Fire charge moves from Mudshot. Also, that is my blue and my red for the team. It's a blue-red thing because it is a water type that uses Earthquake. That to me seemed pretty blue and pretty red. Moving up next, we have Weavile, and I'm actually calling Weavile full Grixis because it has a dark fast move, and it has an ice charge move, and it has a fighting charge move. The fighting is the red, the ice is the blue, the charge move Snarl is the black. It's also a dark ice type, so that is my Grixis, and it is also there for Registeel and Azumarill. The Snarl charges things pretty good, pretty quickly. So the Avalanche is obviously for Altaria, and the I may have said Azumarill earlier, meant Altaria, and the Focus Blast is obviously for Registeel. And then moving to the last slot, this is my black and red Pokemon. It is a poison type, so that's where the black comes from. It also uses Crunch, so that is also where the black comes from. And then it's got Flamethrower, that's where the red's coming from. So that is what that is. And the point there is we've got the poison fast move for Azumarill. We have the Crunch, the dark type move for Deoxys. And then we have Flamethrower again for what's his name, Registeel, and other things like Tropius. So that's the team. It is very Registeel focused, I'm noticing as I look at it now, but Registeel is very problematic for me, so I do my best to get rid of it. So let's go into this game and see how Grixis team number 1 works. So play on that, leading with Swampert into Swampert. So we have a Swampert mirror match. So Swampert charges pretty quickly, and I have let Straw Hat go first. I wanted to farm a wee bit of extra energy, and I do take that damage and preserving my shield. So I farm up to Earthquake so I can fire a Hydro Cannon, and I'm hoping that Straw Hat will shield. And then I know that after that initial Hydro Cannon, I can get to a second one pretty much right away because I did that little bit of extra farming. And so now it's either both shields down or Swampert takes a big hit. He let the Swampert take the big hit, so I switch into my my skunk, and he switches into Altaria, and I fire off a Crunch, and Crunch hits pretty hard, even though Altaria is a monster. And I have decided to shield this Sky attack. I want to go all in and get a second Crunch on the Altaria to either kill it or to burn that second shield. That's the plan here. At this point, the Skunk Tank, I feel, has done enough work, and I'm okay with it dying. So I do get to take out the Altaria, which is super sweet, and Skunk Tank gets to survive and see a little bit more of the game, find out what's coming its way next, and it is Swampert with a Hydro Cannon ready. And I decide to shield this because I think I can farm down the Swampert and get to another charge move. So first, I'm going to bring out the Swampert originally so it can die. That is called a sack swap. I'm using Swampert as a shield, and then I went to bring back in the Skunk Tank and misclicked, and here comes Weavile, and this is very unfortunate for me. Because the moves from the Registeel are very super effective and will very hurt. So I tried to bait that shield, but Straw Hat absolutely knew that Focus Blast was not ready, so he did not let the shield baiting happen. And there you have it. Flash Cannon completely annihilates the Sneasel, and now it is up to Skunk Tank, who just will not get to Flamethrower before it dies, and that is why I fired off the Crunch, but also he had that shield, so Flamethrower or not, it just wasn't going to go very well for me. And this is the end of the game. Flash Cannon comes in and takes out the Skunk Tank. So Grixis team number 1 did not work out so well. In my defense, I improvised and just made it like 10 seconds before we battled. So that's what happens when you go in with something you're not familiar with. But having said that, I feel I did pretty well. And obviously Straw Hat did very well because he's getting pretty freaking good at this. So, let's just move on to the next game, and I'll go over the team composition before the battle begins. Alright, so here's my third Grixis team down there at the bottom, again highlighted with the poorly shaped rectangle, poorly sized rectangle, whatever. So let's go over my team and why my team fits the Grixis theme. So Skarmory it flies, and flying is a blue evergreen mechanic, therefore everything that flies is blue, and that is the rationalization I will use for everything every time I do this kind of stupid thing. And then it's a steel type, so it's also an artifact, so Skarmory is a blue artifact creature. Those are generally OP. Skarmory is a little bit OP, so that's why that fits. Alolan Marowak is fire and ghost, therefore it is black and red. And Azumarill is a water fairy, therefore it is blue. So I have a black-red creature and 2 blue creatures. And that is why that team is Grixis. So let's get into the battle with StrawwHatLuffy and Grixis. So he sends out a Sableye into my Skarmory. I think this is pretty sweet for me, if I do say so myself. But I decide to switch out into Azumarill just in time for the charge move so that Azumarill can take that charge move and really not feel much of a thing. Now this is an interesting matchup because Ice Beam hits the Tropius very, very hard, but Tropius has the Leaf Blade that hits me very, very hard. So we're kind of going to go shield for shield here. I'm going to try to Ice Beam out the Tropius, but Straw Hat is probably not going to let that happen. So here we go, just farming up. And he will send another charge move my way. I will shield that charge move because the way I see it is after this matchup we are both going to have no shields. So I fire off that Ice Beam and we see what happens here, and it is met with a shield, so now we are both shieldless, and I bring back the Skarmory because I know it's ready for Sky Attack, and I fire off that Sky Attack and really hope it hits hard, but you'll notice his life didn't change and then he swapped out. So I had no idea if this was bugged or not, but I assumed it wasn't because he didn't close the match or message me, and so we just kept going. And we'll just assume that Tropius has a lot of damage on it. That's the plan, right? So in comes Registeel, and this is an unfortunate matchup for old Skarmory, especially since I have no shields, because what's-his-name can just take the Sky Attacks for days and get to those charge moves ultra fast. So the Registeel has a boatload of energy right about now, and is just not going to die anytime soon. So there it is, Skarmory's dead, and Reggie has a ton of energy. Luckily I've got AWAC, and AWAC can resist these charge moves that come at it from the Reggie, as well as the fast move. So here is the Sableye again, and I do swap out just in time for that charge move because it would have killed AWAC, and it will not kill the Azu. So I fire off a Play Rough here to get rid of the Sableye, and it works very well, obviously. So Sableye is out, and then in comes something that is not Sableye. In comes that Registeel, and I'm still left here wondering, like, what's going on with the Tropius? How dead is it? So I really don't know what the Tropius' life total looks like. So in comes the AWAC, firing off a Bone Club to hopefully kill the Registeel, but obviously it doesn't. Luckily, I'm able to Fire Spin down the Reggie, but in comes Tropius with a wee bit of health left, surviving that Sky Attack. Aerial Ace almost finishes the AWAC, but it does not. I go for the Bone Club because I really don't think I could get to the Shadow Ball before I die, so I was just like, F it, let's Bone Club, hope it does what it's supposed to do, but obviously it doesn't because of the Grass and Flying type combo. The Bone Club is really poops against Tropius, but I really don't think I could have got to the Shadow Ball, so the way I see it, either way, that game was not going to win for me, but it was a very close game, and, you know, it was a lot of fun, and I think that they were all pretty close games, if I'm remembering correctly. Yeah, I know I just watched them, doesn't mean I remember. Jesus Christ. So, that was the game. Now let's just get into a little bit of what we've learned. Okay, so those were some pretty cool games. I'm very happy with how pretty much everyone performed, honestly. I would like a higher ranked Skuntank, and I think that Weavile is still a bit too fragile. You know, I've said in other videos that I really, really like it, and I really, really want it to work, but I do think that Weavile is a bit too fragile. I do like the Swampert versus Swampert matchup. I feel pretty confident about the way that I played it personally. If you have any advice on how I should have played that Swampert matchup, I would happily hear that and adjust accordingly, because I feel like the more people use Swampert, the more they're going to like it, the more I'm going to see it. I'm already starting to see more Swamperts these days. That is why Alolan Raichu is on there, because it's got that Leaf Blade action, and believe it or not, a lot of people don't expect the Leaf Blade. The amount of times people have sent in Quagsires or Swamperts against Alolan Raichu because they just expect electric attacks, and then they let my Leaf Blade through and it just one-shots their Mudboy. That has happened to me like quite a few times. So for those that use Mudboys, keep in mind Echu has the Leaf Blade and charges very quickly, and those that use Echu, keep in mind, not everyone realizes that their Mudboy is going to die to a Leaf Blade against an Echu. So there's advantages for everyone if you think about it. I really do like Toxicroak, and the Sludge Bomb, you didn't see it here, but the Sludge Bomb actually hits Venusaur really, really hard. Even though Venusaur is part poison, it is also part grass, so it's some neutral damage there, and Sludge Bomb is a solid move, and I haven't one-shotted a Venusaur with it, obviously, but if a Venusaur has already taken a solid chunk of damage, you can Sludge Bomb that Venusaur. So, Toxicroak, solid pick, also really good against the Reggie, and obviously the Sludge Bomb is very good against Azumarill, so that's a good thing to keep in mind. AWAC, I still absolutely love AWAC. I don't blame it at all for what happened with the Tropius. I don't think it could have gotten the energy to Shadow Ball. If I am wrong about that, please tell me, because I would absolutely, every time I'm wrong about anything, just tell me, because I obviously want to be corrected so that I can improve. So thank you. I hit my table. Thank you, StrawwHatLuffy, for playing with me again. I really appreciate that, especially because I woke up to find Go Battle League was down. I messaged my group at like 4 a.m. and you know, he picked up the slack and really helped me out here. So I super appreciate that, and I super appreciate everyone that watched. So you can find me down, you can see in the little graphic there in the card description that I am on Twitter and Instagram and Twitch, all under the name GrixisGhoul15. So if this was your kind of dealio, you're welcome to subscribe to the channel and follow me on those various platforms, because I use Twitter quite often, and Instagram I pretty much just post when there's a new video. But, you know, whatever you see fit. So thank you so much for tuning in and watching this Go Battle League practice. Hopefully next week I will actually be doing Go Battle League for realsies, and it will be Ultra League instead of Great League. So I have to make Pokemon for that. So I'll see you in the next one on Tuesday when I'm playing Magic the Gathering, and I will see you the following week when I am playing Pokemon Go, Go Battle League, Ultra League. Okay, that's all. Goodbye.